you Stay Tuners. Welcome back to another episode of Stay Tuned Sports. It's your good friend Jimbo here with our good buddy King.
How you doing, everybody?
Now I gotta get used to that because I went like this, and the audience probably like, why is he pointing at me? And I should be that way.
No, that's fine. Like I think it's I don't know. Perception is whatever. I don't know how. I know one of the biggest things, especially when you're supposed to be doing things like this, is to look at the camera. I know you said you've been doing that, so maybe putting the hands towards the camera is a little bit like going towards me, because we're kind of like that too, but it's also for the audience. But that's why I kind of do that. I do the salute not just to you but to the audience. So it's like listen. I've been trying to be in broadcast or something along those lines, communications, for most of my life, whether it was radio, TV, streaming, podcasting, whatever the case is. There's a lot of supposed rules that you're supposed to follow and that you're supposed to do that gets this, that, or the other thing done. Maybe we should follow them, because so far I've had very little success. I mean, I had a 5-year period where I was actually on broadcast radio, so there's that, which is fine. But I've kind of just, follow the major guidelines, but other than that, just wing it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've also noticed, if you go back and look at some of the other shows, like I have a problem focusing on the camera as well. I'm supposed to be talking to the people. I'm supposed to be talking to you and the people and the audience. But if you ever notice, I'm just all over the place. Every now and then I got to catch myself like in the monitor feed and be like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be looking at the camera. Hi everybody, how you doing? So little behind the scenes here, a little behind the curtain. Hi everybody, how you doing? Welcome to Stay Tuned Sports. How you doing, Jimbo?
I mean, a lot better than Monday. And before I tell you, well, you know what happened.
Oh yeah, Monday, I forgot we were gonna get. Yeah, we touched on this yesterday during the countdown, and now we get the full story.
Well, let's just put it this way: it must be a Casterline week, because my sister, my niece, and my niece's father all went to Ocean City Monday.
Okay.
And she texted me last night. My sister texted me last night. She lives in Rome, New York. They had a tornado. And turns out the tornado touched down literally probably 100 feet from the hotel that we always stay at.
Oh, wow.
So looks like I might be looking for a new hotel, because obviously I'm in Pennsylvania. She's in New York. Looks like I'll be looking for a new hotel to stay at, because it was nice too, because it was like literally 10 minutes from her house.
Did it get hit? Did it get hit?
So the hotel, I can't find pictures or videos, but the one video I saw, the guy was just panning all around where he was standing, and I saw the KFC that is literally like 100 feet away from it.
Right.
There's cars upside down. There's now I'm thinking about it. I think the beer distributor that was right.
No, not the beer.
Yeah.
No, now we're talking tragedy.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Mother Nature. You know the rules.
Leave the Yingling alone. Wait, do they have Yingling in New York? I don't know yet.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, they have 1911. That's some good cider up there that they make.
Listen, I don't care what everybody says. I love cider. And I know here it's like, well, there's hard cider and absolute. Listen, it's cider. All cider is hard cider. That's the one thing I'll give the Brits. Soccer, it's football. You guys play hand egg. Shut the hell up. I don't care what Eurotrash says. But when it comes to cider is supposed to be hard cider. I get it. But I'm a huge hard cider guy. Always been.
Yeah.
I like it more on the dry side. Not a big sweet, diabetic and all. But
yeah, they have a drier side, but there is a little bit of a sweetness to it.
So I always try to go more towards the drier ones. The Stella Artois cedar is actually very good. And I had one over in Scotland too. They have it here. It's called Thistly Cross. Very nice. Anyway, getting off topic here. So there was a tornado up there by your sister. Thank God she wasn't up there at the time. She was down in Ocean City, New Jersey or Maryland?
Maryland.
Okay. And so that's a good thing. Good thing that their house is good. Good thing that everything is there.
But then as far as Me?
Yeah. What are we? Why are we
So-
talking about high winds and possible damages, Jimbo?
So Monday, found out that I could play NCAA early, so I'm down in the basement.
Everybody did apparently. I'm too poor to, but if you looked on social media, everybody was playing NCAA
Basically,
25.
everybody paid the extra $20 to get 3 days early. That's all the $20 extra was. I actually have an EA account, which is all their games. Discounts, game trials. Some are free, like Need for Speed. We got for free, stuff like that. But I'm down here setting up my dynasty, which Oklahoma, go fuck yourself. I took Temple. I was like, I'm a video game guy. I know how to play Madden. I know how to play college football. 83-21 later, I lost.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Wow.
6 INT. I benched 2 of my quarterbacks. And
Yeah, it's their fault, says the guy controlling them. Hey, these guys just suck.
but then, my mom, who lives a couple blocks from me, texted me and said, hey, can I stop by and stay at the house just for a little bit till the storm passes? Obviously, summertime, or I'm thinking
We
thunderstorm.
get thunderstorms all the
said,
time,
okay.
right?
Now, let me take a step back here. Probably like a half hour earlier, I heard a boom outside, and then the dog started barking. Now, the dog was upstairs with the wife. Dog started barking. I thought, okay, she's not coming down yelling for me or anything. Must be the mailman or UPS guy or something like that.
Right.
So now, fast forward, mom texts. I said, okay, yeah, come on over. So I go up to unlock the front door. I open up the door, and all I see is a fucking tree right on my front porch steps. And there's my wife laying on her phone. I said, did you not hear this? Oh, I thought it was the stuff on the porch just blowing around. The stump was like this big. You would hear the snap. So there's my poor mom trying to get around the branch to come up the steps. I go down steps. Two like when I say branches, I don't mean all little twigs either. I mean probably
branches of a tree. I saw the pictures. Yes, it was half a tree fell on your porch. Yes,
and one half was on the steps. The other half was on my porch roof, right on the gutters. The gutters are old. Thinking, shit, how am I gonna get that off without ripping the gutters apart?
Ripping the gutter down. Yeah.
So I was able to. I have a ladder, but I'm not comfortable putting it up there right next to the tree, trying to get the tree off. So I actually climbed through the bedroom window out onto the porch roof, and luckily,
much safer.
Well, and I had one of those long 9-foot pole chainsaws. I was like, all right, I'll just chop it down. Chainsaw gets jammed in the tree. I'm like, well, shit. I said,
Everything's coming up, Jimbo.
Yeah. I looked at her. I said, you guys get away. She goes, why? What are you going to do? I said, this is why I got a 2-year warranty plan on this thing. I just picked up the whole freaking pole, and tree came with it, and I just threw it. And as I threw it, it snapped off the tree. The stump snapped fully off the tree. Missed the gutter. Gutter's fine. Porch is fine. So I was a little bit happier. Not too happy. I had a
random chainsaw just falling down on people. It's fine.
Yeah, But yeah, so that's been our
for
week.
a second, I thought you said you were gonna back up. I'm gonna RKO this branch right off the roof. Ah!
RKO out. I probably could do a little bit better than Thomas Ciampia, try and do all the RKOs out of nowhere on Randy Orton. I've been following that for a couple weeks now.
Wait, what's going
on? What's DIY's?
Tommaso Ciampa.
Tommaso.
I was like, what name are you saying? You're like Ciampia. Yeah. I'm like, do you not remember his run in NXT? That was a magical run he had.
Yeah, but he's for the past couple weeks has been trying to surprise attack Randy Orton with an RKO out of nowhere.
No kidding.
And I mean, he's jumped into a pool because Randy just Samoa Joe'd him, just stepped away. He jumped through a buffet table because Randy Orton was sitting there.
Is this on TV or is this on like social media and shit?
It was. I've been seeing it on X.
Oh, okay. So it's like a social media thing where he's trying to do. Okay,
yeah.
Okay. I have to keep up with that. I haven't seen any of that, but that's kind of funny. I believe it or not, I believe it's kind of funny.
That's been my week so far. That's why we yesterday we tried to rush the power rankings video because there was more storms coming through, and I don't want to lose power. And
I was gonna say, I looked back in the video, and please do watch it. It is our number 8 countdown ranking for the preseason NFL power rankings for us. Not the best or most in-depth video we've ever made. No. You can kind of tell it was done on a gotta go. So that's don't we. I'm not saying we don't put out quality content. That's not what I'm saying. I believe everything that we do put out is top quality, and we try to do so. Sometimes circumstances are what they are, and let's face facts. You were just a day removed from having a tree fall on your house. There were more thunderstorms moving into the area. We didn't want to lose any connection, or have you get fried, or any of the equipment get fried, or anything like that. So, circumstances being what it was, I'm glad we got the show out to begin with. So
yeah.
But all of that being said, I think it's time to get into a little bit of sports here on Stay Tuned Sports. I know it's the slow season, even for baseball. It's the All Star break, and nobody cares. I will say one thing. As a uniform guy, a jersey guy, a logo guy who loves design and things like that, outside of the socks and maybe the hats, the caps were a little. I actually like the All-Star uniforms.
Did you?
I actually like that. The whole the scripted out like American League and the National League. I actually like that. I thought it was fine. And I know most people are saying they would rather them wear their regular uniforms for the All-Star game. And I get that too. And I'm one of those people that is like, I agree with that to an extent. That, let them, whoever the away league is, wear the grays, the home one wears the whites, and let that be that. But I didn't mind them. Like, I thought it was okay. I know some people were trying to scream and say they're the worst things they ever saw. This is terrible. It's the most egregious thing they've ever seen. I thought they were fine. I mean, for the literal 3 pitches that I watched the game. I didn't watch. I didn't care. I don't think it is what it is. But I like the jerseys.
And I'm glad you brought up baseball, the All-Star game too, because watching Pat McAfee's show today. They towards the end of their segment talk about the All-Star game. They're all happy. Baseball's back, and this and that. Baseball's not back. Yeah, Paul Skeens and Aaron Judge. That's going to be
that was a cool little a cool little thing, a cool little moment, and
But baseball needs to do a lot more than just hope the players can bring them out of the grave.
Baseball is not. I'm sorry. It's just listen. If baseball was back. If baseball was something in the American sports consciousness, people would not consider this the dead season. Yeah. This time, between the end of the Stanley Cup Finals and the NBA Finals and the start of the NFL season, by everybody, by us, by the aforementioned Pat McAfee, by ESPN, by everybody, is considered the dead season. Because, oh boy, I'm going to sneeze. I'm telling you, it's right there. It's right there. It's ready to go. I got to stop. See, if you do this, you kind of hold the nostril there a little bit. Sometimes it can stop it.
Or you have someone just say, God bless you, before you sneeze.
I've tried that. I've tried it on the wife. It doesn't work. Usually after I say that, she gets 3 right in a row. Bang, bang, bang.
Oh, yeah?
And she sneezes like a dad. I love her. I'm not putting anybody on blast. I'm not saying that. But my girl, she sneezes like I've heard few men be able to sneeze. And she's a cute, tiny, little, dainty girl. Yeah. But her sneezes will scare the dead. It's amazing. It's actually impressive. But like this is the dead season. And if baseball had anything of consequence, people would have considered it that. But it is. And part of the reason of that too is like almost half the teams make the playoffs now. That was the kind of one special thing about baseball was that it was very hard to make the postseason. There were teams that had won over 100 games that didn't get in the postseason because they didn't win the division because the team was 1 or 2 or 3 games better than they were. That's a massive That was a massive thing, and made of the 162 games, at least somewhat mattered.
Yeah.
Now, you gotta have 85 wins and make the playoffs. What that was like? What the Rangers last year had 88 wins or something like that. They were a wild card, and they went and won the World Series. Like it's this whole thing. All the baseball season doesn't matter. Opening day matters. Like spring training, people get excited. Opening day, oh, it's cool. Then nobody gives a shit until October.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's. I'm not.
And like
I'm not speaking out of pocket here.
And like 10, 15 years ago, it used to be, okay, once the All Star break hits, that's when baseball matters. That's when all the teams ramp up for trades. And
That's when you start seeing who's going to buy, who's going to sell, who's going all in.
Yeah.
You know, who's going to make the moves, and you know who's got to come out of a slump. You know, someone's got to make a move. Someone's got to. They really got to push for it. Now it's go time. Now it's time to get serious. But even now, it's like.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? Like it really is. Unfortunately, the way it is because I don't know. The only thing I will say that Rob Manfred has done well is the pitch clock. That's the only good thing that has happened in Major League Baseball in his tenure. Is to help streamline the game and shorten the games from being 4-hour disgusting marathons. Like there was no reason for that. So the pitch clock, I think, has very few detractors. You know, some of the real old heads are like, "This is not the baseball I knew." Well, the baseball you knew sucked. Sorry.
Yeah.
But it's still, again, baseball's still not great. They still have a lot of work to do and a lot of things to fix. So, I mean, wow, they're being real noisy up there today. But yes, to move on to something that actually matters, the NFL. I know we're probably alienating a lot of the baseball fans out there, and I don't mean to. Like again, at the end of the day, like you're an Orioles fan, I'm a Yankees fan. You know, I do enjoy playoff baseball. You know, and I do enjoy going to a game. And I think we've discussed that on here before. How much like I enjoy going to a game. It's cool to watch. It's cool to do all these other things. Trying to watch baseball on television is a fucking slog, man.
Yeah.
Like I don't know about that. I don't know how to do that. But I don't want the baseball fans to think like I'm shitting on them or I'm shitting on baseball just to shit on it. Like I would love for baseball to mean something again.
Yeah.
I would love baseball to grab the American consciousness again and be one of the bigger sports. But it's not. And I'm sorry to say that. And it is a very distant fourth right now in the American Big Four, if you want to say that. And I know to some people they even consider soccer to be better. Me personally, I'm not here or there on it. I kind of look at it basically even because, you know, I could take or leave watching MLS over Major League Baseball or the other way around. Like I don't really watch either. But I mean, it's that bad right now for baseball. Then that's I'm sorry, that's not my fault. That's not your fault. That's not anybody else's fault except for the owners and Rob Manfred.
Well, you know, and this is the last thing I'll say, and then we'll talk some football. I was even thinking WNBA might be.
All of a sudden, with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, yeah.
You know, and I guess they got some broadcast deals done, I guess, past couple days or something. So I'm not sure what the agreements were, but listen to Pat's show today. They were talking about that.
At the end of the day, they're pulling number. And once you get people to... That's the whole thing with the WNBA that everybody's trying to say, oh, it's misogyny. No, it's this. Oh, it's just men don't want to watch. No, it's the one thing I've always been saying is that you have to have a product that people want to watch. And for 25 years, the WNBA was unwatchable. I'm sorry, it was. To the point that it was a joke, to the point that it was losing $10 to $15 million a year of the NBA's money because they had to subsidize them because they were not bringing in any money, whether it's ticket sales or broadcasting rights. It wasn't bringing anything because nobody watched it. Yeah. Now, because you have Caitlin Clark and the rivalry that she has with Angel Reese. And I know there's a lot of people out there that don't want to give Angel Reese credit, and there's a lot of Angel Reese fans that don't want to give Caitlin Clark any credit. It really is that rivalry between the two of them that is doing this for the
Yeah.
WNBA. And once you get eyeballs on it, once you have compelling stories, once you have compelling players, once you have good competition, all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I'll watch anything that's competitive. And that's the other thing too, is you're talking about the dead sports season. You know, a lot of people who just watch the NBA Finals or are big basketball people, they're going to choose to watch a compelling WNBA game now over a baseball game. And I think that's a legitimate threat to baseball right now. So that's a very good point, Jimbo. That's an excellent point to bring up here. But the behemoth is the NFL, as we know, as they have a Hard Knocks just for watching teams in the off season. And again, last night was episode 3 of Hard Knocks off season with the New York Giants. And we got a little bit, last night's episode was kind of the money shot that people were waiting for. That was the whole basically a Saquon episode of what happened. And I've seen a couple reactions on both viewpoints of what happened, and I'm interested to see what you thought about it. And then I'll interject my thoughts as well. But I wanted to see what you thought about it as not being a Giants fan, being an Eagles fan, being a fan of somebody who got Saquon in the end. Watching last night, what did you come away with?
So just the Barkley thing first. Obviously, Barkley technically was telling the truth. Giants never really offered him a contract this offseason. Even though he pretty much signed for what they offered him last season or even the season before, whatever it was, they technically did not give him a contract. So he wasn't lying as far as there. That was the main thing I wanted to see, is who's telling the truth. Was Barkley just, smoke grenades of lying and saying that they never did it? And did they do it? So obviously they didn't. And I don't know. I mean, Singletary's the same age as Saquon, and you paid him just a little bit less than what Barkley got. Singletary, I know you have a thing against Barkley because of his injuries and stuff like that, and it's it's on paper he has injury issues. I think Barkley, even with the injury issues, is a better running back. This definitely is a make or break season for Daniel Jones, Joe Shen. I'm not so sure about Dable. I think this is a Joe Shen, Daniel Jones year. I know a couple episodes ago we said this may be a Joe Shen.
You can't say his name right. You can't do it. You're thinking of Schoen, and it's Shane. Shane. Like they get like an Irishman. Shane. Yeah. It's Joe Shane.
But I don't think Dable will be like on the chopping block if this don't work out. I think this is your GM.
Well, I think here's my thoughts on what happened. Now we knew the Giants were like, okay, we want you to test the market, find out what your value is, come back to us, and we'll see what we can do. In the episode you saw before free agency started, the agent called up Shane and gave him some of the numbers. What was it? I think it was 12.3, 12.5 for 3 years with AAV with a certain amount guaranteed or whatever it was. And you heard Shane go to him. He was like, does that get it done? And you heard him talking to Mara afterwards where the agent kind of hemmed and hawed, says, I don't know. It would just be an offer. We'd have to see and everything like that. And I think that's the difference, is that Shane heard what the agent had to offer, asked, okay, if we offer that, does that get the deal done and get him in here? And the agent kind of dragged his feet and hemmed and hawed. So then the Giants were like, all right, well, then, it's either we offer it and he takes it, or because we don't want to have the thing where we offer it and then he rejects it, or we offer it and he says, that's disrespectful or anything like that. That was the whole big thing that we've kind of gotten from the last couple episodes. So then when he does hit, and then you start seeing, the teams that were bidding on him and what they were doing to Bears, and then obviously the Eagles, and you hear the numbers, and it's just like, considering everything else the Giants had to do, if you saw on how they were trying to get the offensive line with Runyon, with my man from the Raiders, whose name is very long and I can't remember right now, and trying to the offensive line, and you heard him talking with Dable, that offensive line was the priority. Clearly, above anything else, they had to try to do something to improve the offensive line, and they did that. What was going to be, and then you also had them with the idea of getting Brian Burns, who is a game-changing player.
Yeah.
And that's going to take a big chunk of money, as we saw. So you have to, the thing I like about the show is that it's showing you the pieces that have to move around and what has to work and what doesn't. I think at the end of the day, I agree with how everything worked and how it went down. Now, especially that I've seen it as a Giants fan. Again, when you look at everything in its totality, yes, Saquon is 27, which, I understand some people say that's young or old for a running back. I think the thing that worked against Saquon in some people's minds is that, yes, he is often injured. I think he also has a problem with consistency on the field. Now, again, I think he's been marketed very well. I think that there is a perception of him that it almost seems like his perception is better than what he actually has been on the field. And that's one or the other, however you want to look at it. But I'm not going to sit here and say that Devin Singletary is a better running back than Saquon Barkley. I'm not going to sit here that Saquon is better or worse than anybody else either. What I will say is that it did seem like Brian Dable wanted Devin Singletary. Maybe that's because of his time that he was offense coordinator in Buffalo. Maybe that's, that he's more familiar with him. Maybe he fits better in the system that Dable has and he runs. I don't know. But it seems like Dable really wanted Devin Singletary. And it seems like Shane did too. Because there was a feeling that they weren't going to get Saquon. And I've heard some people say that it looked like Shane never wanted that. He was really not wanting to have Saquon back anyway. I don't know if I ever got that perception.
No.
Especially when the owner is telling you, I'm going to have a hard time sleeping if that motherfucker goes to Philadelphia, So there was that. But, looking at the show, looking how it all went down, I get it. And anybody else out there, here's the thing. Any of the fucking armchair fucking general managers out there that are just sitting there look at this guy. This guy is the fucking worst. He doesn't know what he's doing. I could be a better general. No, you couldn't. No, you couldn't. You couldn't be a general. Dude, you couldn't be the general manager of I don't know, some fucking European American Football League team, You couldn't be the general manager of the fucking Amsterdam Admirals, okay? Going back to the fact,
look how fast everything went too. Once
that's the thing. You have to be on top of everything. Boom, boom. All of a sudden, the numbers start going way up, way up, way up. They went way up on some of the other guys they wanted. It's like, okay, well, we have to offer this now because if we don't, it's going to jump up, and then we're not going to be able to get them.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the deal with Runyon and the other offensive lineman that we got from the Raiders. I'm not even going to try.
I was going to say.
I'm starting to name him after a fucking asteroid that went through our solar system a couple years ago. Anyway, it was, and he's a very good offensive lineman. I don't mean to disrespect him because the Giants need offensive linemen, and he's a very good offensive lineman there that we got from Vegas. But you see how that all works out, and it's like once the Giants realized that to keep Saquon, they were gonna probably have to not sign somebody else, or get another piece that they desperately wanted, or not have enough resources to get a piece that they wanted, like a Brian Burns. I think they You have to make those kind of decisions when you're a general manager, when you're the scouts, when you're the assistant GMs, when you're all, and you see how all these people are working in concert. And, there's like 7 different of the assistant GMs and scouts or whatever talking to agents, talking to other people, talking to players, getting the information back. Who's what, where, what's the number, what's the AV, what's the APY, what are we doing? What does he want guaranteed? How many years does he want? Then he's also trying to talk to Carolina, and they're trying to squeeze another pick out of him and everything like that. Which still, if you look at that deal from what they were originally saying, if we go back to episode 1, it was like, oh, we'll take 2 1s or 1 or something else for Brian Burns. And then what did we ended up giving them? We gave them like a third and a fourth round or something like that.
Third and a fourth, and you got Burns and I believe a fifth
and a fifth or a seventh or something. Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day. And they were even asking for a 7th, and he was still able to get him like, stop, we're not giving you any more. Let's just work on a deal that we had, and he got him to do it. So overall, I think that's a win. Again, a lot of this is based on what happens with Daniel Jones this year and how some of these pieces fit. What does Malik Neighbors do? And we get to see more of that next week with the draft. And I know people are talking about how, the Giants looked like they were trading up to get Drake May or do something like that. They're saying, if this trade doesn't work, then we're running with Daniel Jones and like that. Which, you can look into that any way you want. But I think any team in this situation would be looking at that. And the other piece you got to remember too is again this team, Shane, and by team I mean Shane and Daboll and that current administrative team and coaching team for the Giants, they didn't pick Daniel Jones. They didn't pick Saquon Barkley. They haven't picked a lot of the players that were on that team when they inherited it. So when you see that a lot of GMs around the league and for history have always wanted to get rid of, well, not so much get rid of, but they wanted to bring in their own people. They want people who are theirs. We picked this guy, or we got this guy in free agency. These are people I want. These are people that are my stamp on this franchise. So I think you have to look at that a little bit too, that there was probably a big thought, and that was my thought too going into the draft, that Shane and Daboll would look at, if you're gonna make a move to put a stamp on your team, like we want a quarterback to be, this is the quarterback that we picked, not that we inherited, that this is one that we want, that would have been the time to do it. Obviously that didn't work out. I mean, nobody was going to move out of those spots. New England wasn't going to move. They wanted Drake May. That was kind of clear from the start. Washington wasn't going to try to pull a trade with anybody in the division to help them out at all. That's for sure. For Jaden Daniels. So they weren't going to get Jaden Daniels. They weren't going to get Drake May. They still had tops. Like those things were, I think they were, if something happens, let's be prepared for it. But realistically, I didn't think there was going to be any chance of that happening. And I just, this is like seeing this stuff and seeing the aftermath of it, like listening to New York Sports Talk Radio this morning. It's the part of me that hates being a Giants fan and hates being in the market is hearing these idiots talk as if they know what the fuck they're talking about. Like, here's the thing. I'm not saying that I could be a better general manager. I'm saying whether or not I like a move or don't or anything like that. But I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, this guy's a fucking moron. What are we doing here? This guy, I could do a better job than him. No, I know I couldn't.
Yeah.
I know I couldn't do a better job than him. And trying to put together all those numbers and trying to put together, what are we looking at? What is their history? What is their injury history? What is their age? What were the stat lines? What are they going to be looking at? What are they looking for? What is like all these things that you have to put together. So yeah, I love the show. Taking myself out of it as being a Giants fan, I love the show because it's such a view into how the back offices run during these kind of situations, during the free agent frenzy, during the draft process. And you just see how all over the place. It is, and that's not. I don't think you're going to find anything different in any other organization. Like some people might say, "Oh, it's sloppy or it's unprofessional." I don't think so. I think that's the way it is. I think we all like we said in our first after the first episode, we all thought in our mind what like an NFL general manager's office was like, or what it was like behind the scenes between clubs talking about things. And then when we see it, and it's like it's just two guys on the field sitting there talking like, you want to give us a couple ones for this guy? I don't know about that, but if you ever want to consider, let us know. Or like at the Patriot thing, just walking over to their box store in the combine and be like, just if you're feeling froggy, keep us in mind. Anything like that. It's just those little tiny informal interactions. I think that's really cool. I think that's really sharp, and a great little insight to it. So again, I really enjoy it. All those kind of things. I have yet to watch the receiver one on Netflix yet. I've heard good things about that.
I'm not sure if I'm going to watch that one.
But that's along the same lines of just I like anything where you get the peek behind the scenes. I love that. That's why Hard Knocks has always been so good with the training camp, and now with this off-season one. You had quarterback last year on Netflix, and now you got the receiver one.
The one scene though in Hard Knocks from last night that I had a chuckle at.
I know. I was just going to bring this one up. But you can go ahead.
I'll let you bring it up.
Okay, no, because I even posted about it on my Facebook and social media. Because that was it. As we're talking about how you pick up guys and lose guys and everything like that, they lost Tyrod to the Jets as their backup quarterback, which, again, he got.
Okay. I have a different scene.
Okay, because he got money.
I know where you're going.
He got money where. The Giants were going to pay that money for a backup.
Yeah.
So, so you got a different scene in mind. Okay. So anyway, so the Giants go. They go around the kick the tires. They get Drew Lock for I think what was it, $5 million? $5 million for this year.
Yeah, something like that.
And they show you who they got. They got like Drew Lock, and then they show you getting Brian Burns, and they showed them getting all these guys and start bringing them in. And they show the scene of Drew Lock getting signed in. Signing his contract, taking the pictures. You see all this. First of all. One thing I do want to say about that stuff is that shit looks awkward as fuck.
Yeah.
Like look, I'm signing a paper. Look, I got a free shirt, and then where they're all sitting there with everybody else around, like you see them on social media. You see what they post. It's like, hey, happy to be a New York Giant or whatever team they're on, and then you see and you look back and it's like there's their whole entourage and there's the other Giants press. They're all surrounding them, watching them while they're doing this goofy shit. It's like that's goofy as shit.
And the other thing too is I always thought like it felt like it was, hey, I'm just gonna jump on real quick and just come up with a catchphrase, not be like Drew Lock and be like, so what should I say, Big Blue? Or,
that was the thing because he came from Seattle and Seattle's big thing is the 12th man or anything like that. So he asked the guys like, do you guys like is there like a slogan that the team uses or the fans use or anything like that? And you heard the one assistant there go, well, go Big Blue is one of the big ones, or, fuck the Eagles. If you really want to endear yourself to the fans, you go that one. I popped for that one. I fucking started laughing. So did my wife. Where I was like, absolutely. I was like, that's if you want to get someone to pop, that's how you do it. I wish you would have done it too. I was hey everybody, glad to be a New York Giant. By the way, fuck the Eagles. Go Big Blue. Like, yeah, all right. That would have been a way to do it. I would have been 1,000% a bigger Drew Lock fan if he would have done that. But I figured you would have liked that part too.
Yeah, especially because he beat us last year, asshole.
That was kind of the beginning of the Eagles slide.
Yeah,
because you had lost you had lost to I think it was the Cowboys and the Niners in back-to-back weeks. Yeah. But people were like. We can understand that. The Niners are a really good Super Bowl contender. Dallas, at the time, we thought was a really good team, could go places. And it's like, okay, well, Seattle's a get-right game. Seattle's going to be the get-right game for the Eagles. And, again, Geno Smith was hurt. They were starting Drew Lock. It was like, this is a get-right game. The Eagles are going to win this game. It's not even a problem. And then you lose to Drew Lock. And it was like, uh-oh, there's a problem in Philly. Uh-oh, that's not good. Glad to have him. I like having a solid, like, that's the thing. I like having a solid backup. I think Drew Lock is a solid backup. Kind of like how Tyrod was. We don't have Zach Wilson back there. You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing for me, is having somebody with Daniel Jones. Granted, I think the offensive line is improved. I still don't think it's great, but I think it's improved. So hopefully he stays healthy this year. And from what it seems like, the Giants did not place him on the PUP list before training camp starts, which a lot of people thought might happen, which means he's most likely going to be in training camp when training camp starts, which means his ACL is healing the way it should be, and he's doing very well with that, which means he's probably going to start the season, which is great news. I know people don't give a shit and people hate Daniel Jones. I don't. I think I believe in Daniel Jones. I still do.
I believe
in Daniel Jones. I got to channel a little bit of Dion there. I believe in Eli. I believe in Daniel Jones. I really do. But that being said, I do believe in him. But like Ronald Reagan used to say back in the day, trust but verify. I trust you.
Yeah.
But you got to do something this year. And I know he still doesn't have a whole ton of weapons. Malik Neighbors helps, but he still doesn't have a ton of weapons. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You have to make smart decisions with the football. You have to make the right plays with the football. And as long as he does that, as long as he shows that he can be an NFL quarterback in the top half of the league, I need him to be a top half quarterback. Yeah. I need him to be at least 15 or above. And as long as he's that, I know that the Giants are heading in the right direction. That's the thing. I believe in Daniel Jones. I like Daniel Jones, but I'm also not ignorant of the fact that, like, if he cocks it up, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, give the guy a chance. I'm not going to do that. I like the guy. I want him to do well. But if he doesn't, this is New York sports. I mean, and they've been wanting to run him out here on a rail for 5 years now. They didn't like it when they drafted him. Which you and me, we disagreed with those people on draft night. We've always kind of been on the Danny Dimes train here. So I'm hoping he does well. I believe he can do well. We've seen it. Like, again, he dragged the Giants into the playoffs just 2 seasons ago. So I think he can do it. But if he doesn't, let's see. I don't know. Who's going to be in the draft next year? I don't know. Next year may not be a great draft. Maybe we'll be the next team that gets Russell Wilson. I don't know.
So the scene that I had a chuckle at was when I believe they closed the deal for Brian Burns, the trade.
Right.
And the assistant GMs were in Shane's office, whatever, and your defense coordinator was coming in. He put his hand on the door handle. He hears them talking and takes off.
Yes.
Like, do I go in?
He was like,
what the hell's going on?
That was kind of funny.
But I had a chuckle at that. As far as the owner too, he needs to. I agree with you now. Now that I see what you say, all these times about him kind of getting involved too much, stuff like that. The simple statement that he said, he's our most favorite player, and read between the lines in that. That means he sells the most jerseys.
No, that's right. He says he's our most popular player by far, which means yes. But and I saw some people getting upset by that, saying like, "Oh, he doesn't care if he wins or loses. He only cares about jersey
that's how
sales."
I took it.
First of all, at the end of the day, every NFL owner is a business owner. The NFL's a business. You want to make money. So if you have an asset, as in this case Saquon Barkley, who makes you money because of the jersey sales that he has and whatever other merchandise that you have of Saquon, you want that. So yes. So that part didn't bother me. Like, I saw it's bothering some people, like, oh my God, he doesn't even want to win. But he does. And we've also heard that from John Mara too. Like, he's even come out and said, I'm tired of having to go to these meetings and talking to these other owners and explaining to them why we suck. I don't want to suck anymore. Like, why are we so bad? Like, so I get that. I feel that. I don't want to suck either. You know?
Yeah.
And I don't see it as him meddling. I just see it as like, and in fact, that's not what he's doing. Like, it's very anti Jerry Jones, where Jerry is the GM. Jerry's the one making the decision and putting the pieces together or not together in this case, in this offseason.
Yeah.
Like or other owners like a Tepper or somebody who's constantly firing coaches or doing something like that. Mara kind of lets it go. He says his opinion. It's his team, so he can voice his opinion on what he would rather have or what he wants, but he lets his guys do what they do. Like if Shane, like if Shane was directed by Mara to, like, you're signing Saquon no matter what, Saquon would be a New York Giant.
Yeah.
That's not what happened. Obviously, John Mara wanted Saquon to be a New York Giant, but he trusted Shane to be like, I would rather have him, but you do what you think is best for this team. I hired you as general manager. You do the general managing. So that's how I read it. Okay. I don't know how people read it a different way. Read it as meddling or being in, he's getting too involved. No. If you owned an NFL team, you would want to let the people around you know what you're looking for your team. What you want your identity to be, what you want, what players you would prefer, especially in the case of a Saquon who sells jerseys, all those things. Like that's normal owner behavior. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with Mara. I don't have a problem with, and again, we've only seen Mara. We haven't seen Tisch at all. I don't know if Tisch gives a shit or not. But we've seen Mara, and again, the Maras have owned the Giants for 100 years. This is their 100th season. They've owned them the entire time. So, I trust the Maras. The Giants have 8 world championships, 4 Super Bowls. We have been one of the worst teams in the last decade. I think we've had a 36% winning percentage. Not great. Not real great.
I didn't think you guys were that bad.
Yeah, we've been over the last 10 years. I think we're the losing. Us and the Jets are the losingest teams in the NFL over the last 10 seasons. More so than the Browns have an 0-16 and a 1-15 season in there, and the Giants and Jets still have lost more games.
Wow.
Not great. Not great.
Yeah.
It has not been great. So we'll see. Is this season the start of a turnaround? I don't know, but we'll see. Speaking of the New York Jetropolitans, the crosstown rivals of those New York Giants, who we see on Hard Knocks every Tuesday evening at 9 o'clock on HBO and Max. Used to be HBO Max, which made sense, but now it's just Max. I don't know why. Warner Brothers doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. Apparently, during the weekend at the American Century Championships, the kind of celebrity pro-am golf tournament that they have, our one of our favorite people to watch, Pat McAfee, was involved the last couple of years. Not this year, I don't think he was there. But Aaron was there. AJ Hawk was there. Apparently did better than Romo. I saw that. That was kind of cool. But there was somebody from a local sports either blog or podcast or something of that nature. I forget the name. I'll see it when I bring it up here in a second. But they asked him a question on the golf course. But just about how he was doing, and so I believe he asked him about a coach for the Raiders. I think Getzel, something like that. No, Getzel plays hockey. I don't know. Anyway, here's the video clip, and you'll get to hear that, and you get to see why people are kind of like, what does this mean? What's going on?
What's up? You think Luke Getsy's going to utilize Davante Adams good in the new Raiders offense?
I love Luke Getsy. He's a fantastic coach.
Awesome.
I love Davante. I can't wait to play with him again.
Vegas Sports Today, by the way. Thank you for shout out to them for that video clip. But
interesting.
That's an interesting statement to make, Aaron. Now, again, Aaron is no stranger to trolling and to saying shit just to kind of get a conversation going.
Yeah.
We know that. Interesting comment to make. And again, I think this kind of leaves him a little wiggle room, too. Because he can sit there and say, well, I meant to play with him again playing golf. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And I heard some people saying whether or not that could be considered tampering. I don't know if player-to-player contact can be tampering.
That's the first thing I thought of.
From what I understand, I don't believe that that's the case. I don't believe that can be tampering. I'd have to look in the rules and what the bylaws are, subsection 42 of Article 69. I don't know. So I don't think it is. I don't think it can be. But it's an interesting comment. And now I do believe, hold on, because there was something else. Let me go over to our good friend X here, also known as Twitter.
Because this whole thing started like a week or two ago with Davante Adams bringing up like quotes like, things like that.
Yes, and I believe he was on Up and Adams too, as well. Not too long ago. I think sometime this week, and that was kind of brought up. Here's this is from Adam Schefter. This was yesterday, after kind of all this stuff, started hitting the fan a little bit. The statement from Davante Adams' agents, Kenny Chapman and Frank Bauer, regarding the recent trade talks surrounding their client, Davante Adams. This is baseless, unfounded speculation, and Davante is expected to be with the Raiders as there has been absolutely no trade talk, period. Period. Right there. Bang. Now, would this be the first time that an agent has lied? Not at all. So take that with a grain of salt.
I mean, they're lawyers, so.
Now, here's the thing. Let's get to a little bit of fantasy here. A little bit of fantasy football. Not that kind of fantasy. Calm your tits. What would it take to get Davante in a New York Jet uniform? What would the Raiders ask for? Because here's the thing, and this is something that I saw somebody bring up, and it was actually a good point if you think about it. Davante's making a lot of money. And I believe his contract is up after this season. I believe
that would make sense.
So either this season or next season. I'm not 1,000% sure on that. I can go ahead and look that up in a second. But from what I understand is either way, it's a lot of money, and then the Raiders would also have to be looking to pay a lot of money, and the Raiders seem to be in a rebuild here where they're kind of putting things together, whether it's, again, you have Minshew as quarterback. I love Minshew. I think he's a perfect fit for the Raiders organization, to tell you the truth. But some people see him as kind of a stopgap quarterback. It seems like the Raiders are trying to build up a little bit, rebuild their identity under Antonio Pierce and all those things. So would you want to have a receiver that you may not be able to hold on to, that you would either have to then spend a lot of your money on, that kills any chance of trying to rebuild around a young core? So you're talking about either losing a lot of money or just losing him outright and not getting anything for him, or do you trade him?
Yeah.
And get either some pieces right now, actual players, actual veteran talent, or do you get draft capital? Which for the Raiders, it looks like that's something that they would want to do if they're building or rebuilding, kind of wanting to build a core get all those pieces together. You know how I feel about draft capital, but again, maybe some teams it works for. And if you're the Raiders, you have to look at it through that lens. Do we have this man and lose him and get nothing for him, a future Hall of Famer, where you can set a pretty decent price for him, or on the flip side, lose. You're either going to lose a ton of money and therefore cap space, or you're just going to lose him outright and lose any kind of advantage to having him when it comes to getting any other kind of pieces that you might need.
Yeah.
When I think about it that way, all of a sudden trading Davante Adams doesn't seem like the craziest idea.
No, I mean it would be, I think, the smartest thing, because I did hear them say that if they trade him right now, though, it's $40 million in dead money. But if they wait till September or when the season starts, he only counts about $25 million of dead money. So I mean, nothing's going to happen right now, but I have a different philosophy than you do when it comes to NFL and draft picks. I believe you build through the draft and get draft picks for him. Yeah, you may not get a first, but I could see a second or a third for him in that deal.
Okay, according to Sport Track, he signed a 5-year deal with the Raiders, but there's an out after this season.
Okay.
So he has a potential out to get out of this season, whether that's a player option or not. Let me see here. I want to see if there's anything specific about this. Raiders, Adams will earn the base salary. 5 years.
Speed reading.
Yeah, I know. That's what we're looking at here. So that's what it looks like. It says that they can have a potential out for 2025. After 3 years, the total that he would have earned would be 67. Dead cap would be 15.7 million dead cap space for the Raiders. That's if he chooses to opt out of that contract. Now, if that happens, again, now you're talking about the Raiders being out of him. He would be a free agent. They would be down $15 million in the cap and all that. Or you could trade him. And we already know that he's not exactly happy with the Raiders organization because he went there to play with Derek Carr. And then Josh McDaniels hated Derek Carr, got rid of him because he's an asshole. And then he got the boot. And it's just kind of a mess of a thing. So the whole reason Davante went there was to play with his friend, who they then promptly got rid of. And he's had to work with Aiden O'Connell and now Gardner Minshew, who, again, I like, but we'll see. So if I'm Davante, I'm probably like, I'd like to go play with Aaron,
Yeah.
And he said as much, I believe, on Up and Adams with the lovely and beautiful Kay Adams.
And let's not forget about this with the Jets. This is a make or break season for everybody in that organization. If they don't win a Super Bowl,
especially the coach, especially the GM. If you look at Joe Douglas, yeah, I agree.
So why not pull the trade? Bring as many weapons in as you can to.
Yeah, but is that a case of too many stars on a team or too many big people? Like if you have Davante Adams and not Gardner Minshew,
Wilson?
Garrett Wilson. There we go. I got all the G's mixed up. But that's it. If you have Garrett Wilson and Davante, and then somebody's not getting the amount that they think they should be, or does it cause locker room problems? Does it do anything like that? I don't think Davante's that kind of guy.
No.
And again, Davante also has a history with the OC, the same as
That's true.
Aaron does. Like, if he was gonna go somewhere, that would make the most sense. And if you're the Jets, you've kind of already gone this far into it. Like your defense is fucking stacked. You fix your offensive line somewhat. Is the best offensive line? No, but it's going to be a hell of a lot better than it was last year, which was on par with the Giants. So again, as long as Aaron stays healthy, you have wide receiver weapons out the ass. You have Breece Hall in the backfield, who is still amazing, even after his rookie year ACL injury, still great. Like, you're set up for this.
Yeah.
Does adding another piece, like almost like a safety net that is Davante Adams, does that hurt you at all? Like, and if you've gone this far, do you kind of have the Rams mindset from a couple years ago of fuck them picks? You know, they even wore the shirt to the parade. You know, the general manager had the shirt that said "fuck those picks." You know, like, does it? You know, if you're the Jets, if you're the Jets and you win the Super Bowl for the first time in what would it be, 56 years? Nobody's going to give a shit about what draft picks you gave up or not, or what trade you made or not, or anything like that. And the Jets are on the precipice of that. If their head coach can stay out of the way, which is a question, and if they can put all the pieces together, the defense is set there. If Aaron stays healthy, and it, you know, again, they have the weapons. They have the, like, it seems like it makes too much sense. I don't know if Aaron was speaking from, you know, wishful thinking, or if it was, you know, I know something you don't know kind of situation. I don't know.
I think he was trying to plant seeds towards Joe Douglas. Like, hey, let's get this going.
Can't wait to play with him again. Joe. Again. See, Joe, I said again. You hear me say again, Joe? Because I want to play with him again. Now.
Let's just hope that Joe Douglas don't get the Davante Adams from Temu.
I'm confused. You know, who's that? I know what Temu is, but yeah, well, I know.
You're not gonna get the real Davante Adams. You're gonna get a knockoff Davante Adams.
Oh, I thought you had somebody in mind when you said a knockoff Davante Adams.
Just a knockoff Davante Adams. It's the heat.
You make my brain hurt. I understand, like. Anyway,
it's not even football season yet.
We're getting there. Hey, listen.
50 days. 50 days away.
50 days as of this recording. And Friday, we're starting our predictions, which we still haven't come up with a name for yet, but we're going to.
Yes.
And we're going to start with the AFC East. Just letting everybody know. Little spoiler. We're starting with the AFC East. That will be the first division that we are predicting who will finish first, second, third, and fourth, how their seasons will go. Those New York Jets that we were just talking about right there. So, interested to see how that all breaks down. Again,
make sure you hit the notification button.
See, I was about to do it, and you jumped right on it. You knew it. See, you're good.
It looked like you were forgetting. You're forgetting.
You're good. Yes, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, just so you know that when that drops on Friday, you'll know immediately when it comes out. So we have that. What did we talk? We talked about the All Star game. We talked about WNBA, actually, believe it or not.
Yeah.
We talked about Mother Nature hating you and your porch. And
I think it's just hating my family.
I'm trying to think what else is happening in the sports world right now.
The only other thing I'll say is, as far as making sure notifications are on, this Saturday, not sure if I'm going to be able to do it. I'm hoping I could do it because it's my wedding anniversary, so I got to be nice to the wife. And,
dude, if you okay, listen, I didn't know this was happening. Okay, I might make an executive decision here as co-owner and co-host of Stay Tuned Sports. If you live stream instead of doing something for your wedding anniversary, I'm gonna file for divorce on your wife's behalf.
Here's the thing, though. For once, the boxing match starts at the pay-per-view, I should say, starts at 9 p.m. Not this freaking noon shit that they've been doing. That bothers the shit out of me. That's one reason why boxing is dead. But Mike Perry versus Jake Paul. That's not going to come on until 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning anyways. She's in bed by 10:30, 11 o'clock on the weekends anymore.
You're supposed to be in bed too. You're supposed to, I mean, it's an anniversary. That's, that's the prime, you gotta really give it, you gotta give it the anniversary I don't want to say it, First of all, if that's the action you're doing while you're doing it, you should probably be in jail. So I'm just going to say that right now. It's probably not the best euphemism for, that, I don't, well, no, because you want these. That's, okay, I'm going to stop before we're not even monetized yet because we don't have enough subscribers, but we're going to be pre-demonetized if I keep it up. But yeah, so anyway, on the off chance that Jimbo pisses off his wife and then he has to stream on Saturday, he might do the live stream of the Jake Paul fight. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you will be noticed. Oh, I did want to touch on the.
Oh boy!
Did you watch the home run derby? And the national.
I didn't watch the derby. I did wake up the next day to see the controversy over the national anthem, and I'm like, let's see how bad this is. I got to the first note,
brother. I saw people on Twitter complaining about it, and I was like, I saw somebody say worse than Fergie at the NBA All Star game, and I was like, that's a high bar. That's a high bar. So I was like,
Roseanne.
I don't know. Well, Roseanne was purposely done. Like that was okay. What was done. Fergie, bless her heart, was trying. So I went and I saw the clip of it. And her later excuse makes sense.
Yes. Because
when I heard it, it sounded like karaoke night at McCarthy's in Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it said. Because she tried to do the whole, whoa, but she did it so drunkenly that she sounded just like that. And it was, she tries to hit these notes, and the land of the free, and then she went Joe Biden at the end, where she was like, in the home of the brave, like real whispery. And I was like, what did we just witness?
Well,
that was...
I didn't get to the whispering part. I literally probably lasted about 5 seconds listening to it. I'm like, I can't listen no more. And the whole time, before I found out about the excuse of why she was like that, all that kept going through my head was, how is this girl a 4-time Grammy?
That was my thought. When I said 4-time Grammy, I was like, that's got to be auto-tune, studio magic. There's no way in hell. And I'm like, oh my God. The only thing that kept on going in my head was that clip. If anybody's ever watched the movie Goon, in that movie, before one of the hockey games, the lady sings the Canadian national anthem pretty much like she sang the American one. And afterwards, the announcer goes, well, that was downright treasonous. That should be considered a war crime. She should be arrested. And that's the only thing I could think of. Because that was... that's exactly what it was. That was borderline treason for how terrible that was. And here's the thing. Like, listen, I can understand being an alcoholic. I think I probably was during some part of my 30s. Wait. All you had to do was wait until after you sang the national anthem. Then you can get blitzed. Who cares?
Yeah. But, I mean, did she have people around her like, here's a shot, here, let's cheers?
I'm feeling nervous. You know what helps your nerves? A flask of tequila. Like, I don't know. Well, God bless her.
I will say, she obviously checking herself into rehab. I hope she comes out fine and she gets everything all sorted out, fixed. I'd like to see her back next year, sober, because 4-time Grammy Award winner. She's got to be good. That's not just an
here's
award.
The problem. Watch her come back sober, and it's just as bad.
That's bad.
Yeah. I feel bad too because we've been talking about it, and we haven't mentioned her name once. I forgot her name.
I mean,
let me.
I'm terrible at pronouncing names. Anyway,
I'm so bad at remembering names. Let me see. What was her name? Ingrid Andress. Ingrid Andress. And that's it. She looked like she was like 19 or 20 years old. She's apparently like in her mid 30s.
Holy shit.
I know.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
thing.
So I don't know. Maybe the alcohol is pickling her and making her, just keeping her young. I have no idea. But because I thought too, I was like, oh, she's just really young and inexperienced and just screwing it up or anything like that. But I don't know how you're a 4-time Grammy winner if you're that. Yeah, she's 32 years old.
Holy Jesus.
So that's so the youth thing wasn't an excuse. I guess the alcohol thing can be an excuse. But like somebody else said too, whenever you see somebody do this, their first reaction is always to go, oh, I'm going to rehab. And it's like, well, again, I hope she does. I hope it works. I hope it sticks. If that was indeed the problem. And that she's not just going to rehab as a way to, deflect stuff. Because she was getting cooked. I believe the MLB All Star account, closed, went private.
Really?
Her ex account went private. They were all because she was just getting cooked. And rightfully so. You can't and whether you're an alcoholic or not, you can't there's certain things you can't do. So, but that's an all timer. That's an absolute. That's right up there with Fergie. Maybe even worse than Fergie, because that one was bad. And Fergie, Fergie had her own addiction issues. So who knows if that was a part of it too? But I mean, people, if you're going to sing the national anthem, whether it's American, Canadian, whatever it is, don't drink. Don't drink beforehand.
Or do drugs.
Maybe cocaine. Sober. Cocaine keeps you focused. I'm going to say that. I'm not advocating for cocaine use. I'm just saying. King, what are you doing? Shut up. Oh. The opinions of King do not necessarily reflect those of Stay Tuned Sports or Skunk Dog Studios. Outside of that, though, I mean, we covered a lot. Is there anything else?
No, I think that's it. Probably should leave before you guys.
I've come dangerously close with a couple of things already, so I don't know. Yeah, probably best if we leave off right from here. So I guess we'll just I'll say my last words will be we'll see everybody on Friday for the predictions videos.
So make sure you guys tune back in on Friday. So until next time, it's your good friend Jimbo. And King.
It's your boy King.
We're out.
Jose, can you sing?